Do you have orders to MacDill Air Force Base? Are you going to be PCSing here soon? You've got to watch this video to learn all about MacDill and the surrounding area. Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel, Living in Tampa. If you're new to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell so you'll be notified every time that I release a new video. So you've got orders to MacDill and you're wondering what it's all about. Well, lucky you. Few are lucky enough to get orders to this wonderful location. I'm telling you, Tampa has so much to offer. We've got the beautiful beaches over in Pinellas County. We've got sports team for everything that you can imagine. There's so many attractions. We've got Busch Gardens and Adventure Island. We're so close to Orlando. There's just so many good, positive things about Tampa. You're going to love being stationed here. My husband was first stationed here back in 2008. And we have never left since. We love it. It's truly my favorite duty station we've ever had. And today's video, I'm going to show you all about MacDill and where you might consider living if you're stationed here, as well as just a little bit about the area in general. So stay tuned. Let's get started. So you've got those orders to MacDill. You're wondering what it's all about. Well, let me tell you first a little bit just about the base itself. It's a gorgeous base for sure. The Air Force always seems to have the nicer bases for, as long as I can remember. I grew up an Army brat and I'm a Navy wife. My dad was in the Army for 26 years. Spent the majority of that time in Germany because my mother is German. And then he's from Georgia. So we did a lot of time at a lot of the bases in Georgia as well. A little bit of time in Texas. We've been to a lot of different places, but point being, I've made a lot of moves in my lifetime between my husband's career and my father's career. My husband being in the Navy as an officer, again, my dad being in the Army as an enlisted. He retired as an E9 and my husband retired as an 05 not too long ago. So we've been to a lot of places and we've lived on a lot of bases and in a lot of base housing, and I have to tell you that Tampa and MacDill Air Force Base is one of the most beautiful bases that I've ever seen. There's a lot of people stationed here. It's a huge base because it's a joint command. As I'm sure you already know, there's CENTCOM there and there's SOCOM there, and they've got the airfields and everything's spread out, and that's part of the reason why it's so large. But it has everything that the typical base has to offer. You've got your commissary, and you've got your exchange, you've got your Class 6 store, you've got a gym, you've got the bowling alley, all of those things that every base pretty much has. But what MacDill's got that some bases definitely cannot boast that they have is its own private beach. Now, a lot of the land on MacDill, because it's on this little peninsula down in the south part of Tampa, there is a lot of shoreline included on MacDill Air Force Base, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Some of the views from there, you can see for miles. It's so pretty. And they have this little beach area, and they have this marina too. So if you're a boater, or you just like, hanging out at the beach, it's nice because Tampa itself doesn't really have any beaches. You've got to go over to Pinellas County, which isn't all that far from South Tampa. It might take you, half hour, 45 minutes maybe. But if you're just wanting to have a little day at the beach and make it quick and not do all that driving, you have your own private beach right there on the base. It's so pretty. So I'm going to take you through a little driving tour right now and show you some of this stuff in person. I'm going to take you inside the commissary and take you over and show you that little beach. So let's go.
All right, guys, I'm going to take you on a little tour of MacDill Air Force Base as part of this video. And here I am sitting at the front gate waiting to get in. And this is actually mild compared to how some of the traffic is during the peak hours when you're waiting to get on base. So this is definitely something to keep in mind regarding your commute. All right, I'll take this up after I get through. Almost my turn now, finally. All right, guys, I made it through the gate, and here's the first kind of stuff that you can see once you get through. There is a gas station back there, and there's this Burger King, and over here's where like the exchange and the Class 6 store and the Commissary are located. I'm actually going to run into the Commissary because, I have to be honest, I don't come to the base all that often anymore now that my husband is retired. Don't have as much of a reason to. There you can see the gas station. And since we are here, I'm going to take advantage and run in and grab a couple things at the Commissary. My mom is German. I think I may have shared that on some previous videos with you guys. My dad was in the Army 26 years. He met my mom over there, and I came along shortly thereafter. So I'm half German, and the Commissary has a pretty decent selection of some German foods. So I'm gonna pop over there. Right now we're going by the Exchange, and right here is the Class 6 store, super important of course, and the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm gonna let this gentleman cross in front of us. We've got the clothing store if you need to get your new uniforms or any of that stuff. And then coming up just past all of this is the Commissary. So I'll take this up when I get inside. All right guys, here we are. I'm parked and I'm headed into the Commissary. Just want to give you a little glimpse of what it's like here. And as you can see, this is recorded right during the middle of coronavirus, so everybody's walking around with masks on, and I'm going to have to put my mask on too. But just to give you an idea of the size of this, I'm going to scroll around and let you see. There's one of the gates. MacDill has 3 gates. That one's closed and is often closed. And there you have it. And now I'm going to head in. Okay guys, so here we are inside of the Commissary. Just to give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like. I'm not going to go through all the aisles, but just so you get an idea, I will show you the German aisles when we get there. But it's a pretty nice Commissary. Okay guys, here it is. The German section. It's pretty picked over. It's usually not like this. I think this is because of COVID, but this stuff I can't live without. I usually buy 2 or 3 of these at a time since I don't come down here that much. I use this on salad like constantly. And then here I am at the dairy section. Like, I mean, the Commissary is a good deal, don't get me wrong. It's just now I live pretty far away, and so it's not worth the hassle of driving all the way down here. But sometimes they got really good sales, like this cereal, for instance, $2.41, and then you get this $1 off coupon. So it's definitely worth it sometimes. All right, guys, thanks for bearing with me there as I made that little stop in the Commissary. Now we can continue the tour of the base. Like I said, that gate there that we just passed is probably the one that's closed the most often. This big, huge building over here is CENTCOM. Several places there, as you can see. I'm sure you already know MacDill's got SOCOM and CENTCOM on the base, so it really is a huge Air Force base, and it's very spread out, and it's some of the best property probably in all of Tampa, because it makes up a large portion of it is made up by the shoreline here along the bay, and that's probably, in my opinion, the most beautiful part of the entire base that I really want to take you by. So I am going to turn here so you can see, and what MacDill has done is beautiful too. They have put a little path beside it where you can run, and when we were in the temporary housing here, that's what I did every day, because I love to run. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I'm an avid runner. But see right here, this beautiful trail that runs all along this water here, and it's just a gorgeous way to start your day. over here we've got Surf's Edge Club, and when we continue down this way, you'll see they've got some of the housing that I want to show you. And just kind of a general tour, but yeah, right here to our right is some of the housing. The housing's very limited on MacDill, and I will talk about that if I haven't already in some of the other part of this video, but just want to give you the general idea where it's located. I mean, look, these are multi-million-dollar views you've got in some of this housing, but the chances of getting in the housing are very low. We never did get on. We were on the waiting list, but by the time we got on, we were already settled in another home. There's the MacDill Inn. That's one of the options to stay there when you first arrive if they have room. They were out of room when we came, and we ended up staying in some little, they're almost like little mobile home kind of things. We didn't stay very long, mind you, but I don't even know if they still have those. There's some more, you know, of the officer housing right here. Super nice. And just giving you a view more of this long trail that you've got all along the water, and how beautiful this base is with the trees and the little parks they've got. And there's just a lot of beauty on this base. I can't imagine what this land would sell for if it wasn't part of the base. It's definitely a huge asset. And here's more housing along here. And check out your view. That's crazy, isn't it? One of these houses, if it were off the base, would be buku bucks. Okay, so here we are by the golf course, Bay Palms Golf Course. I'm going to take you in here just to show you a little bit of the clubhouse. It's a really nice golf course, really. I don't play golf, but my husband does. He says it's a good course. But again, you know, we live north of the base, and it's a pretty good drive down here. Lately the traffic's been great since not as many people are going into work with coronavirus, but as you can see, this is beautiful. So that gives you a good idea of that. If you're a golfer, you would love being stationed here. Just going to show you just a little bit more of the golf course here over to my right, for those of you that are interested in that. Right now it's September, it's about to be Labor Day weekend, and it's still hot as blazes here in Florida, plus it's Thursday today, so you're not going to see many people out here on the course. But yeah, right now it's 93 degrees is what my car says. It's not ideal golfing weather with the humidity and everything, but definitely a beautiful course to play on. One more thing I wanted to show you, probably my favorite part of the base. They've got almost like a private beach here. They've got a little marina, and this is MacDill Outdoor Rec, so you can, you know, rent boats and all kinds of stuff in here that they have available for you to rent at very, very reasonable prices. They recently redid this, and it's beautiful. So we'll go through this parking lot so you can get a glimpse at it. Nice building. And then I'm going to pick this back up when I get over to the beach. So there's also this RV campground here that a lot of people come to, you know, when they're traveling all around. This is a great place because it's right here on the base. You have access to all the facilities, and it's very reasonable as well. Okay, so here is Seascapes. It's a little restaurant that they've got that's right on the beach. And then there's the beach.
So, it's beautiful. I mean, it's really like having your own private beach. Now, it's not as nice as being over in Pinellas County. You know, you don't have all the tourist attractions and all that good stuff. But when you're looking just to come out to the beach and just sit and enjoy the quiet of the bay, this is gorgeous. I'm gonna flip this around and show you what it looks like. But like I said, it's like almost like it's private. Every time I come here, there's nobody here. I mean, here's some people having lunch, but you've got the volleyball courts, which I've never seen anybody using in the times that I've been here. But granted, like I said, I don't come here very often anymore because we live kind of far. But when we were over here, this was an easy place to come and get to enjoy being on the beach without driving all the way to like Clearwater or St. Pete or something like that. I just love the sound of the water and seeing the seagulls and all the beach stuff. This is probably why I love Florida so much. It's my favorite place in the world to be, is near the water. What a view, huh? So definitely this is one of the perks of living on or near the base, is you would have access to this and not have to drive all the way over to Clearwater. Especially if you like it quiet. If you have teenagers, you probably want to go over to Clearwater. They probably want to see Pier 60 and all that good stuff. But for just a quiet little getaway, this is the place to be. Okay, one other thing I did want to show you is the marina that you have access to here on the base. It's kind of nice because it also is, you know, convenient here, and those are the things you can rent there from the outdoor rec. And this is a nice little perk to have on the base. If you're a boater, I can imagine you'd be spending a lot of time here. And it's a nice facility. So definitely check this out when you get here. Here's another little part you can see where you can park the boats there and all that good stuff. One more thing that I should mention for this little area of the base is they do offer storage for boats and RVs right here. I'm not sure the pricing of it. That's something that, you know, doesn't stay the same, so you need to call and find out. But just another little tidbit of information, and for those of you that have a boat or an RV, for you to know that that is available to you. Okay, and see here I wanted to show you a little bit of the airfield that we're coming up on. But over here, you've got some of the SOCOM facilities and CENTCOM facilities. This coming up here on our left is probably where you're going to see the majority of the things that you'll see pictures of online. When you think of MacDill, this is kind of the image and the pictures that are out there. Sorry, I know this AC is loud, but gosh, it's hot. I had to turn it up because it's so hot today. But here you go, you've got these hangars, you know. And there's the one, I want to show you the one, there's the one coming up that says MacDill Air Force Base on top of it. That's most likely the picture that you've seen the most of online.
it's at in MacDill. And here's going to be the last little bit of my tour for you guys of the base. Just giving you a look. This is pretty much, I guess you would consider this like the middle of the base. A lot of the administrative buildings are here. They've got a big parking garage there. I think the ID card place is right here, at least it used to be. I know they've moved a lot of stuff around. Like I said, I don't come all that often, but yeah, I think it's right over there, actually. Okay, so this concludes your little tour of the base. If there was anything else that you were wondering about or had questions about, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. If I don't have the answers, I can most certainly find out the answers for you. But it's a beautiful base. We loved being stationed here. See, there's the sign for the ID card. I knew I was right. Oh, and there's the chapel too, for anyone that's wondering about that. They do have a chapel, and they have a wonderful gym. I did not take you there, but if you like to exercise, they have a beautiful gym. So yeah, I think I've covered pretty much everything. Here we are again on Bayshore Boulevard. I'm going to turn and head off the base, and I'll tell you a little bit more about everything here in the rest of my video.
So now I want to get into kind of the housing situation at MacDill Air Force Base. As you saw, that housing that they've got there is very nice. It is privatized, and a lot of it is in ideal locations, just beautiful. A lot of it has been renovated and updated, and it's very nice housing. The problem is, because MacDill is so big, I think there's over 12,000 people there's just not enough of it. So there's a huge, long waiting list, and we actually got on the waiting list when we got our orders, and I think it was about a year after we had been living here that we got notified that it was our turn. And at that point we had already purchased a home, and we decided that was not going to happen, that we were going to move into base housing at that point. But I guess if you were in a rental situation and you wanted to do that, you can. But my point being, for most people, waiting for base housing is not going to be an alternative. So you definitely want to keep that in mind when you get your orders here. Now, temporary housing, they've got MacDill Inn. I think I showed that in the little driving tour. They've also got some other accommodations there. And you can, depending on the time of year, you can get into that without too much problem, as long as you do it far enough in advance. Now, we do have a lot of Airbnbs here in the Tampa area. So worst case scenario, you get to get a little Airbnb and kind of enjoy a vacation type lifestyle for your first 30, 45 days when you're stationed here, if you're not lucky enough to find a home before you arrive. So that's kind of a summary of what the housing situation on base is like. Now I'm going to go on to some of the areas that you might want to consider living in if you aren't going to be living on base. Let's get to that. So you're going to live off base and you're trying to decide what makes sense for you. Well, it really boils down to your lifestyle, your family situation, how much of a commute you're willing to deal with, because again, like I mentioned, MacDill is down in that little peninsula. There's no freeways that go all the way down to it. You've got to pretty much take some heavily traveled roads to get there once you get off of the freeway. So you're not going to have an easy commute from most places, unless maybe it's South Tampa, which is going to be my first area that I say is worth considering if you're stationed at MacDill, because of its proximity, first of all, and because of its quaintness and the things to do down there. So South Tampa really is close to downtown. There's Hyde Park down there as well. There's always lots of activities going on, and it's just a wonderful place to live. Now, your BAH is definitely going to be enough right now with the mortgage rates being what they are. If you're going to buy, you could get into a very nice home. I think BAH ranges anywhere from $1,900 to $2,600 right now, depending on your pay grade. And you can get into a pretty nice home for those prices right now. Now, South Tampa is a little bit more pricey than some of the other areas, so if you're on the lower end of the BAH, that might not hold true, depending on what size home you need and things of that nature. But for the most part, you will be able to find a pretty nice home. It'll be very close to the base. South Tampa, most areas of that are only going to take you maybe 15 or 20 minutes to get into work. And that's nice not to have that commute. And like I said, there's a lot of areas where you can walk, a lot of restaurants that are real trendy. There's markets on the weekends and festivities, and then you're really close to downtown, so you can go like see the lightning play, and you can go to concerts, and you're going to have a really active nightlife and weekend activity calendar if you're living down in South Tampa, for sure. Now, all of those things, of course, are accessible from other areas in Tampa as well. But I would say, especially if you're single or if you don't have any young children anymore at home and you just want to enjoy all that Tampa has to offer, then I think South Tampa and Hyde Park would be a really great choice for you. So now, what if you want to be close to the beach? Well, a lot of people, obviously, you've got orders to Tampa, and one of the main perks of being in Tampa is the beach, the access to the beaches and the weather that we've got here. So a lot of people do choose to live in St. Pete. St. Pete is quite nice, and it has a lot of character. There's a lot of different areas in St. Pete, so I'm just going to speak in generalities here. As far as from a commuting perspective, the only downside would be if you have to travel during those high rush hour traffic commuter times, you're going to be sitting on that bridge that goes over to St. Pete, because there's only one that would make sense for you to use. I mean, there's a few, but the one that makes the most sense for you to use is almost always backed up with traffic during the rush hour. So that's something to consider. You're not going to have an easy commute over there. But that being said, if you live on the closer side of St. Pete, you probably still can get within, half hour or so commute time, and then you'd have an easier commute over to the beaches. And St. Pete has a lot to do as well. They just revitalized a lot of the area down there. They have a brand new pier, which is just awesome. I haven't even gotten a chance to go in person because of coronavirus, but I've watched a lot of videos about it. It looks amazing, and I can't wait to get over there. The old pier was super nice, and it was a fun place to go, but it needed to be rebuilt. So it's so nice. The downtown area there is always hustling, bustling. They've got lots of restaurants and trendy things to do, and you've got Sunken Gardens, and you've got a Mahaffey Theater. There's just a lot of things that you can do on the weekends. And St. Pete too, I would say, if you're younger or you don't have young kids at home, you're not too worried about the school situation, because the schools are a little tougher over in St. Pete to get a highly rated school, or if you're able to do private school, then St. Pete is definitely a good choice too. Next up is Brandon, and I'm going to kind of generalize all of these areas over by Brandon, which if you look at the map here, we've got Brandon, and then Valrico, Ruskin, Riverview, and then way over here, Lithia too. We've got, that's where Fishhawk is. So I'm going to kind of lump all of these together, even though they are quite different, but it's that same general area. Now, Brandon, you can get quite a bit of home in all of these areas for the money. You will have to use a toll road, most likely. I mean, there is other ways to go, but your quickest route is going to involve using the Selman Expressway, which is a toll road. And you are going to have quite a commute from over there. Now, Fishhawk it might as well be on-base housing. There are so many people that live over there. It's literally like you're on base. And they actually even have a shuttle that runs daily from the base to Fishhawk and back. And I think it leaves pretty early in the day. I remember my husband kind of being irritated that people would have to leave early because they had to catch the bus. So yeah, there is that perk that you have that transportation provided for you, but it is a long drive. So it's nice that you have the bus. You can either, take a nap, read a book, catch up on social media, whatever you want to do. You don't have to sit there and do the drive yourself if you can make your schedule work with the bus schedule. Personally, for us, we did look over in that area when we first moved here, when we were looking to buy. To me, I just didn't like it. Brandon, you have to kind of drive through Brandon to get to a lot when you live in Fishhawk, and I just don't, the Brandon area just doesn't really appeal to me. It's so busy. It's just a little older, and to me, it looks a little run down. Now, I don't want to say too many negative things because it is still a great area, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. So take it for what it's worth. A ton of military people live over there, and you might love it. And everybody's got different tastes. So I'm just kind of telling you my opinion. And for us, we decided that Brandon was not the place that we wanted to be. Okay, so now that's kind of the east side of Tampa we just went over. Now let's move a little over here to the west side, Westchase. Now I have talked about Westchase in some of my previous videos. You might want to look that up if you want a little more in-depth information about it. I'm just kind of giving a general overview today. Westchase is beautiful. It's a great place if you've got a family. If you like to golf, there's golf courses there. It has like this village type setup where it has a little town center kind of thing where you're going to see people out walking all the time, and lots of families with pets, and there's restaurants there, and it's just a real kind of homely kind of place that you can enjoy time with family and friends. And there's things to do, not as much on the nightlife as if you were down in South Tampa, but again, your drive is not that bad to get over there, so you can still enjoy all of that stuff. Westchase is made up of a lot of little different other neighborhoods within the neighborhood itself. Westchase is huge, but all the subdivisions within are a little smaller. Pretty good schools over there, and that's really a great area. They've added so much new shopping over there. They've got a Costco now and an Aldi's and all of these new shops, and really I like Westchase. It's a really trendy kind of area, and it would be a really fun place to live. And then heading north from Westchase up, you're going to hit Carrollwood, and then above that is going to be Lutz. Carrollwood is like the original suburb of Tampa. It's been there for a really long time. It's really mature. There's a lot of older neighborhoods there, big mature trees, beautiful when you're driving through, very convenient. Almost all of the neighborhoods are located just off of Mabry, which is our main north-south thoroughfare where you can find pretty much every kind of shop or restaurant that you would ever need. So it's really convenient, not too bad of a commute to the base. If you like older style homes and not so much the cookie cutter where every house is the same, that would definitely be an area to consider. There are several neighborhoods there too that on the outskirts of that are not deed restricted. So if that's something that appeals to you, that might be something to keep in mind. I do get a lot of people that want to be able to park an RV or park a boat. So there are some neighborhoods outside of there that will allow that are not deed restricted. So that's something to keep in mind for that. And then as you go a little bit further, even north of that, is Lutz. And Lutz is super cute. One of my favorite areas. I work that area a lot. I've sold a lot of homes there. It does have one of the top rated schools in Hillsborough County there, and that's why the home values just really hold true there. And you're going to get a lot of families. There's a lot of golf in Lutz. On Lutz Lake Fern Road alone, you've got Heritage Harbor golf course, you've got TPC golf course, you've got Cheval golf course, and it's very convenient for commuting too. So it's a little bit further commute because you are obviously a little further north, but you've got several different ways you can go. You can go on the toll road, the Veterans Expressway, or you can head down on Mabry, which has a lot of traffic lights, so it's not ideal, but there are a lot of options for you to get around traffic if there is traffic in certain areas. Lutz, definitely very family friendly. old-timey, lots of traditions and things of that nature. I really like Lutz a lot. It would definitely be one of my top choices if I was just moving here. And then last but not least, I'm going to go up into Pasco County. So Pasco County is just north of Hillsborough County, and you're definitely looking at a much longer commute there. My husband did this commute for about 5 years, and by the end of it, he was definitely tired of it. So long term, I wouldn't suggest this to anyone unless you really want, to be further, which some people do prefer that. You are looking at least a 45-minute commute in the morning, and in the afternoons when the traffic is, if you're leaving during prime traffic, you're at least an hour, sometimes longer. You will want to use the toll road for this, so there's also that added expense. But I will tell you, Pasco County, you can get a lot of home for your money. There's several A-rated schools in Pasco County, and it's got just a little more of the, how should I say, it's suburban, I guess. It's not quite as developed. That's changing rapidly because Tampa's running out of land and things are creeping north, and there's a lot of building going on in the southern part of Pasco County. But there's still a lot of open spaces. You're still going to see fields with cows, and there's a lot of outdoor type recreational things to do. They've got trails that you can hike and that you can walk. They've got a lot of parks. And disclaimer here, we live in Pasco County, so I love it. I really do. We've been in Land O'Lakes, very close to the toll road, so that helps make the commute shorter when you live closer to the entrance of the toll road. And it's been a great place for us to live and for us to have raised our families, knowing that we've got those good quality schools and we've got everything we need right here around us. Now, we didn't go to the base as much. My husband had to go every day. He certainly didn't want to go back down there on the weekends. And because it was further away, I didn't take advantage of the on-base facilities as much, towards the end of his tour there. And especially now that he's retired, we rarely go onto the base at all, to be honest. So that's one downside, is you are far and you're probably not going to want to spend your free time going over there, but you get a lot of house for your money, and I just love the feel of Pasco County. Well, there you have it, my take on MacDill Air Force Base and all the surrounding areas. I hope that this video helps you if you've got orders coming here. If there was anything that I didn't cover that you're curious about, go ahead and drop it down below in the comments section. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Or better yet, you can reach out to me, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. However you want to communicate with me is fine. I'm always available. When it comes to moving to Tampa, I've got your back. Hey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell, so you'll be notified every time that I release a new video. Thank you so much for your service to our country, and I'll look forward to seeing you here in Tampa soon.